Today I wanted to recycle this old wood panel painting. I've been meaning to do it for a while because it's been like hanging prominently in my dining room. I don't really like it. I think at the time that I made this, it was supposed to be about the fragility of memory. You know, when you have like the kind of life where you just get up, go to work, come home. I don't remember anything from the last 10 years. And I was preserving a bunch of old like sketches that I liked, and now I'm just scraping them off so that I can just use this for the Wild Satellite Show. I really wanted to model it after this page. I have been borrowing some ideas from this sketchbook to make actual like full paintings out of, and since I had a really rough kind of messy base to work with, a mixed media piece, something simple seemed best. And I really do love that page a lot. It has, you know, the cat astronaut beaming over this Queen Anne's lace flower thing, almost like he's radiating, like he's the sunlight himself. I'm going to try to recreate it as best as I can, but it is a much larger format, so it's going to need a little bit more details, you know, in texture and whatever, to make up for all of the new space. And I plan to have a bunch of little wooden panels to match this style. Very similar to Not a King, Just a Kinglet, that painting I did recently. I'm going to have about like 5 of those. Sometimes I just like to talk about random stuff over this footage. If you're a patron, you've already kind of heard me gush about a day at the flea market I had over the weekend. You see, like, I table at a flea market every Sunday. It sounds like a silly thing to do, and it kind of is. It's kind of fun. I really enjoy it, going to a flea market to sell artwork to an audience that is not looking for anything new or high-priced. They're just looking for used, cheap deals, right? It doesn't seem like a very good place to show art, and you're right. But the most important thing about the flea market is that it's accessible. It's accessible by people in the community. It's accessible by the artists, because I'm going to do a craft fair this spring, and it's a little off of the beaten path. It's going to be on a farmland, and it's going to be their first time trying it, so I think that's why that it was a little bit less expensive than usual, but it was still $100 just to set up a little 4-foot table there, right? Otherwise, you know, you're looking at $300 or $1,000. Art shows and craft fairs can be really expensive, and they also only happen a couple of times a year. So I pretty much just table at the flea market most of the time because it's the only place that I can think of that is consistently open every weekend, no matter what season it is. And it's just a place that I go to just hang out and make art in public and just have people see me. The benefit of doing art in public is that you can actually physically see when someone notices you. They'll talk to you, and it's a lot more engaging than, you know, spending hours on a YouTube video and no one watching it, or posting something on Twitter and you don't know if it's actually being seen or if someone's just scrolling by it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of work that goes into stuff, and you want to know that it's working or not. I like being in person for that reason. It's like having an art studio with built-in foot traffic, but it is also very slow. It can be very demotivating because, again, like, these aren't people who are there to buy art. So I have been making stickers and prints and stuff, which helps a lot. Helps me cover my table anyway. I just go there to hang out. It's really fun. This weekend it was pretty slow, and it wasn't just me. Pretty much everyone was kind of just hanging out and not really making any money or selling anything until like noon. I think it was until noon that nothing was really going on. People would come in and they would stare at every vendor and then walk out, you know, like a zoo. And we have a lot of crafters just kind of try it out for a weekend and then give up immediately. You'll never see them again. But I've noticed that people don't really stop to talk to you as much until you've kind of been around for a little while. All the vendors at the market are somewhat chummy. I'm a very, very shy, reserved kind of person who keeps to myself, which is kind of a detriment, but even I have grown to get excited to be there and to see familiar faces all the time, and people start sharing information with each other. I had a new table neighbor who we didn't even really introduce to each other, and she just walked up to me and gave me a cute little seed bead ring, like a little friendship ring. That was so sweet. And so I gave her a sticker in return because I just felt so bad. That table, actually, there were so many of their friends would show up to the market just to say hello and drop off food gifts. They were just coming in and out all day And they had boxes of cookies and, coffee drinks and food, and they were sharing it with other vendors, and it was a really good time. It felt kind of like a party. And part of me wanted to ask her, like, what's her secret to having so many friends and just being so loved? And it's kind of a silly question because it's pretty obvious. I would treasure this ring trinket forever, pretty much. I kept getting caught up in these deep personal conversations with people, and another vendor said that he was also kind of inspired to start bringing his artwork and painting in person, which makes me feel good because it makes me feel like I'm doing something. Make another person feel confident enough to do their art instead of just like hiding it away or whatever. I got to do like a sketching portrait for another vendor for a very low, very reasonable price considering the work I put into it. But that's just kind of the way that it is there. People just do stuff for each other and support each other in different ways, encourage each other, or tell people, if something's not working, it's a really valuable experience. And even if it was a really crappy day where you just don't sell anything, it's really what you kind of make of it. I had the most fun day ever. And what's funny is that when it gets you into that mood where you start to have like fun with other people and you're laughing and you're opening up and you're sort of having conversations, jumping back and forth between people, I think you start reflecting it yourself. People start coming to your table, and it turned out this weekend, despite the first 5 hours of selling absolutely nothing, I actually ended up having the best market day there that I've ever had. It isn't much to brag about, but it was the best, and there's got to be a connection between that kind of success and just being happy and being pleasant yourself, not complaining about no one's looking at your stuff, no one's buying from you, you're not getting anywhere. I tried that for a long time and I lost so many of you, and I get that good vibes only is really toxic, but at the same time it's like we only really get back what we're radiating out, you know what I mean? As I have been kind of learning from you guys. And it was awesome. Someone even came to my table and said, I have a gift for you. Here's some frames. And I'm like, what? What kind of frames? I was like so confused. Like, well, they're free and they work. And then disappeared before I even could like say anything. And you know what? They did work. I just needed to put a nice appropriate mat in there, but I suddenly had 2 frames that I can use for my upcoming art show. Like, what are the odds? I wasn't even really talking to a lot of people about looking for picture frames or anything. It was just, I don't know, it was just kismet. It just happened. I'm really grateful. I will make great use of them. But yeah, the social economy at this place is just super strong, and I definitely didn't really get to experience that just going once and then quitting. You know what I mean? I'm really grateful that we can have like a really low-key, ongoing for decades event like this that is still quite accessible by everyone from both angles. And while it wasn't free, it doesn't cost very much. But anyway, I had such a nice weekend, and I hope you guys are having a good week as well. Thanks for watching and subscribing. If you want to join us on Patreon, I like to show things from my sketchbook, offer some prompts and things. A link to that will be in the description, and thanks for watching.